Welcome. 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 Double time up. Welcome. Philippine literature is literature associated with the Philippines from its prehistoric to its colonial legacy and on to the present.
Let's dive in more into Philippine literature.
Pre-colonial period, it starts from BC to 1564. It is based on oral traditions, crude on ideology and phraseology. Our life was simple and bucolic. Here are the literary forms of pre-colonial period. First, riddles. It's a battle of wits among participants. It's like a verbal puzzle that you're going to answer. Example of riddle is Prinsesa nakaupo sa tasa. The answer is kasoy or cashew nuts. Second is proverbs or salawikain. It is a wise saying that contains a metaphor used to teach us food for thought. Example of salawikain. Huwag mong gawin sa iba kung ayaw mong gawin sa iyo. Kung ano ang puno, siya ang bunga. Kung walang tiyaga, ay walang nilaga. Those are the examples of salawikain. The third is folk songs. It is a form of folk lyric which expresses the hopes and aspirations. A few examples are the lullaby, hele or oyayi. It is a general song to send a child to sleep. The next is kalusan, or work songs. It is a piece of music closely connected to a form of work, either sung while conducting a task. Kanugan, it is a song for the dead, or dirge, a song or hymn of mourning composed or performed as a memorial to a dead person.
Spanish colonial period, or the introduction of religion to the Philippines. Roman Catholicism, Christian church that has been the decisive spiritual force in the history of Western civilization, along with Eastern Orthodoxy and Protestantism. It is one of the three major branches of Christianity. The number of Roman Catholics in the world, nearly 1.1 billion, is greater than that of nearly all other religious traditions. There are more Roman Catholics than all other Christians combined and more Roman Catholics than all Buddhists or Hindus, although there are more Muslims than Roman Catholics. The number of Roman Catholics is greater than that of the individual traditions of Shia and Sunni Islam. The Roman Catholic Church traces its history to Jesus Christ and the Apostles. Over the course of centuries, it developed a highly sophisticated theology and an elaborate organizational structure headed by the papacy, the oldest continuing absolute monarchy in the world. Prior to the arrival of Catholic missionaries and explorers from Spain, Islam had been introduced in the Philippines in the late 14th century through trade with merchants from Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Middle East. It was only later in the 16th century that the voyages of Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan in the year 1480 to 1551 first brought Catholicism to the archipelago, originally named St. Lazarus Islands, by Spanish explorer Ruy Lopez de Villalobos, 1500s to 1544, but later changed the present name in honor of Philip II of Spain, who reigned from 1556 to 1598. Commissioned by King of Spain, Magellan arrived on Homonhon Island on March 17, 1521. claiming lands in the name of Spain after months navigating through what is now known as the Strait of Magellan at the southern part of Chile and Argentina. At Homonhon, Magellan and his crew made first contact with the inhabitants who offered the foreign visitors provisions to help them regain their strength. This seemed to replenish their desire to push westward to the original destination of their Homeric voyage to the Spice Islands, an Indonesian archipelago in the Banda Sea where cloves, nutmeg, and cloves originated.
Nationalistic propaganda and revolutionary period. Characteristic of nationalistic and propaganda and revolutionary period. The surge of national consciousness among Filipino eventually influenced them to write significant literature protests. Literary forms. Propaganda literature, the result of the Filipino protest against the Spanish rule. Propaganda movement, a movement organized by the Filipinos. Objective, to seek reforms and changes in the Spanish government. Revolutionary leaders, Dr. Jose Rizal, Marcelo H. del Pilar, and Graciano Lopez Haina. Other propagandists, Antonio Luna, Mariano Ponce, Pedro Paterno, Jose Maria Panganiban, and many others. Dr. Jose Rizal, born in Calamba, Laguna, on June 19, 1861. Graciano Lopez Haina, born on December 18, 1856. Marcelo H. del Pilar, born on August 30, 1850. Political essay. Diaryong Tagalog. Political novels. No Le Tangere, El Filibusterismo, both made by Dr. Jose P. Rizal. Revolutionary literature, political essays, and poetry. So, nationalistic and propaganda and revolutionary period is the historical or most historical period in the Philippine literature. You know why? Because it is the period who taught us Filipinos to fight for our rights, to fight for our countries, and not to waste our country.
American Colonial Period 1910 to 1945. The Philippine literature in English language. Although the Filipinos were defeated in the Philippine-American War, or Philippine Insurrection as termed by the Americans, they kept the flame of nationalism burning as ever. Seeking to find a better solution other than violent means, they resorted back to the pen. Peace movements started as early as 1900s, and many Filipinos started writing again after the sword was broken. They wrote all forms of literature like news, poetry, stories, plays, essays, novels, which clearly depicted their love of country and longing for independence. Hence, the spirit of nationalism of the people remained undoubted. With the arrival of the English language, a new way of writing literature has emerged. The Filipinos, being lovers of languages and natural linguists, began using this new medium to record their thoughts, sentiments, ideas and views, dreams and fear, as well as everyday life matters. In short, a new weapon was added to their arsenal. As a student, you need to understand how Philippine literature in English developed and improved from its early years during the American period and beyond. To begin with, let us take a look at three periods. Period of reorientation, period of imitation, period of self-discovery and growth. Period of reorientation, 1898 to 1910. The period of reorientation covered the early years of American period and the landing of the Americans to Philippine shores, including the Philippine-American War. Even during a war, the Americans established public school system in areas that have been pacified. English language was used as medium of instruction in public schools as early as 1900s in the corridor island. This period was characterized by the Filipino writers believing in the American and English culture. The Philippines managed for full-scale publication of the literature of the Philippines, published literary compositions in English, written by pioneers in English poetry, essays, and drama. Period of self-discovery period, 1924 to 1941. In this period, Filipino writers acquired mastery of the English language. Evidently, they began to write confidently and confidently. They wrote in verse, sonnet, odes, elegies, and others. They even started to write novels and dramas.
American colonialization. Now we have the Japanese occupation. This starts from 1942 to 1960. The war years last 5 years. It started from 1942 to 1949. Tagalog poets broke away from the Balagtas traditions and instead wrote in simple language and free verse. Fiction prevailed over poetry. 25 pinakamabuting maikling katang Filipino. Competition of the short story contest by the military government on 1953. Siyuan sa tubigan. Lupang tinubuan. Uhaw ng tigang na lupa. Next period of maturity and originality was on 1945 to 1960. Bountiful harvest in poetry, fictions, drama, and essay. Filipino writers mastered English and familiarized themselves with diverse techniques. Literary giants appeared. Palangka Awards for Literature. National Artist Awards. Since the talking and talking by the Philippines and the Americans help us to defend the Philippines from the Japanese forces. And officially the Manila declared an open city. And that's all for the Japanese occupation. Thank you very much.
After the Japanese occupation, from 1960 up until today is the modern period. The rise of nationalistic pride in the 60s and the 70s helped in a change of attitude among Filipinos who were concerned about the Filipino identity. The early 1970s was a politically committed writing and protest. On September 21, 1972, President Marcos declared martial law, which repressed and curtailed human rights and the freedom of the press. Theaters were used as a vehicle for protest, like the Philippine Educational Theater Association and the Youth Theater. Writers started to use symbolism and allegories to drive home their message at the face of every sentence. From the 80s onwards, writers started to show dynamism and innovation. Filipino artists still use short stories, poetry, novellas, novels, and essays. They became more conscious with their art, with the increase in writers, workshops, and the bulk of literature available to them via the mass media and the internet. An example of a novel written by a Filipino writer is Francisco Siermentos' monumental Rosada Saga, which is made up of 5 novels. It has more than any other series of works touch on this Filipino search for roots, struggle for corruption, and fight for social justice. And that is all for the modern period.
Let's dive a bit more into Philippine literature.
Philippine literature is literature associated with Philippines. From its priest, putang ina pre. Priest, putang ina pre. Priest, putang ina pre.